Hallo alle, welcome to my abode, or as we say in German, Haus. So today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the German CLEP exam. Pointless, you say? Au contraire. This is why you need to take one of the CLEP language exams. Besides the fact that they give you about a semester's worth of college credit, which is a big help. Say you don't know a language and you'd like to learn one. Say you don't want to learn one. Why are you still watching this video? But if you actually do want to learn one, I want to point this out. It's a lot easier than you think it is. There are two reasons you think it's so difficult. Number one is when you first listen to it, you absolutely have no idea what is being said, and you get discouraged because you like to know what people are talking about. Generally speaking, when you don't know what people are saying, you kind of feel left out, and therefore you give up pretty quickly. And that's probably one of the big reasons that you're discouraged. And the second reason that you're probably discouraged is actually because you tried to learn it in school, which I'll get to in a minute. I did learn it on my own, and I also learned it for free. But for German specifically, I'll explain really simply the best way to do this. The first thing you always have to do is you have to do Duolingo to get a basic start, which is just a free app. It's a free site as well that you can just figure it out from there. There's also another thing called Mixer, which is like a Skype call that you can do with other people, which I can explain in another time. Also, books like these are pretty good. This one right here is about little boys getting their thumbs cut off, as well as songs that you can translate. I would say the best way that you can enjoy the process of doing this is try to just embrace the culture if you can. It's pretty irrelevant whether you culturally appropriate or not, like me. In any way that you can, try to get interested in the culture. For German in particular, I would recommend probably most Disney films with a Disney princess that's German, which is a few of them. Christmas is very German. Beer, pretzels, Nazis if you're into that type of stuff, castles. Whatever it may be, I would recommend trying to find aspects that you enjoy and then embrace them. Typically when you connect positive emotions to certain feelings, ergo if you love Christmas, it's going to be easier. If you connect the idea of Christmas to German, believe me, it works. So my two scores for this exam, actually, the first one I got was a 49, which is one under passing, and the other one I got was a 57 after I studied for about 3 more months. Nonetheless, it's an exam that should be fun. If you want it to be fun, it's going to be fun. So typically it's divided into 3 basic parts. There's the listening portion, the grammar portion, and then the long paragraph portion. Listening typically is relatively easy phrases and words that they would use in the language, like how are you, what's your plan today, what are you doing, what happened to them. Just really easy stuff. The only difficult part is that you really have to practice your listening. They speak clearly, so that's not really going to be the issue. What the issue will be is whether or not you know the words, and I would recommend being able to know all of them at a pretty decent level before you can actually go and try things with it. The second part is basic grammar, where you use your minimalistic knowledge of the German grammar structure, which is very complex. Basically just what sounds right. To be 100% honest, you do this in English as well. If you think about whenever you use the word or an, you kind of just know which one sounds better. It's pretty much the same thing with German. When you listen to it enough and you hear it enough, you know which words are going to fit into these little blank spaces. And the last part is basically going to be like reading Mein Kampf in the original German, except harder. I'm just kidding. It is difficult. It's not super difficult, but a lot of the words you can get off context, and the best part is you can take your time with it, so it's not really that much of an issue, but if you don't speak the language, it's going to be a little more difficult. The test is actually not that difficult. If you learn about 9 to 12 months beforehand, specifically the fact I'm saying this for German, because German's the hardest out of the 3 languages, I think that you can really pick up any of the languages within 9 to 10 months pretty easily. And the reason I say that is because typically you're going to learn it on your own a lot faster than you learn it from a teacher in high school. Schools do an absolutely terrible job of teaching you any language in the world. The reason why is grammar. Now, grammar is important, especially when you get later on in the language, but when you first start off, you do not want to learn grammar. It's going to bore you to death. You're not going to understand what they're talking about. You're going to want to learn the words, and you're going to learn the stories that people are talking about. Now, this is especially true with German, French, and Spanish. not Latin. Just keep in mind that you will need to learn the grammar eventually, but when you're starting out, I would not recommend it at all. It will bore you. If you still don't believe me, here's why. I'll give you a sample phrase and you can judge for yourself. Now this sample phrase right here, Englisch ist extrem leicht für alle nicht Englisch sprechenden Personen zu lernen. Okay? Now, if you're going to just translate this word for word, you're going to end up with the phrase, English is extremely light for every not English-speaking persons to learn. Now, it sounds completely grammatically incorrect in English, but if you stare at this for about 5 to 10 seconds, you can easily see that you can understand what is being said. English is extremely easy for every non-English speaking person to learn. Now, that is more to show you that the words are much more important, especially at the beginning because it's more entertaining. For example, Jägermeister means hunting master, just for some fun. In French, the word for seal is fuck. But anyway, I hope you guys have an interest in learning one of the languages. I know I do, and if I encourage you to learn German, very happy about that. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Mark's channel and mine. Also, if you are interested, you could check out my book on Amazon. The book is just going a little bit more detail into my experience testing out of college in a year. It is called the One-Year Diploma. Wenn du willst, du kannst zu meinem Channel kommen und ja, es ist sehr cool da. Ich habe sehr viel Spaß. Ich bin ein Meme-König und ich bin sehr lustig. So, tschüss. Wow.